to some point it has affected the kind of relation that we have. Because, you know, once something has been created in someone's mindset, it's so hard to remove that. It's kind of like the impression that you give someone.
Hello guys, welcome to Street Vibes TV and the Hot Bench. Why is it called the Hot Bench? Because in here we discuss issues, matters, youth na tunaziongelelea yani na the temperatures zikiwa the highest. And we want to thank you for our first video yenye tulifanya last week. You guys mlichukulia vizuri sana na tunashukuru sana the fact that you are liking and you are even commenting. You are making this a discussion. Remember, we want to make sure that as youths we have a place where we can talk our issues, either in politics, either in understanding of the government, everything in a trend probably, and also anything inatufaa kama youths. So by the end of the day, I don't know how much I can do to make sure that, or how much I'm expected to say so that you feel like we really love you, but just know we love you so much. Come at the Hot Bench. I go by the name Kasabos, your host, and today we are having a guest. And today we are having a lady guest, or should I say a girl guest. Having said so, before she introduces herself, I would really like to ask you kindly subscribe on this YouTube channel. Make this show your favorite show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How do you feel being on the Hot Bench with Kasabos?
Well, I can say it's mixed. I don't really know how to put it, but then I'm excited as well. Yeah, and also grateful for the opportunity.
Imagine right now we'll be speaking to millions of youths, and you are a face that will be influencing some of the things that we probably don't know probably, or some of the things that we have a problem with, or you'll be also trying to give the face of what the youths know, what the youths feel, and what the youths are expected of. Out of a million, you are chosen to be on the Hot Bench. How does it feel?
Well, it's a privilege, I can say, and not because I might not really be that, above in terms of knowledge, but I believe that what I have is relative and it's going to help each one in one way or another. I think it can inform someone, or it can transform, or well, it can, it can be internalized by someone. Yeah.
Informative or formative conversation we're going to be having here. So welcome to the Hot Bench today. You are the face of Hot Bench today. And today we're going to be discussing 3 issues, and we start with our first issue. That is the Kenya-Tanzania online war. What do you know about this Kenya-Tanzania online war? Have you seen it? Have you heard about it?
Oh, yeah, sure, I have. And I have been watching even from the news many a times of recent past, of course. We see the heated exchange of words, in the media all over with the Tanzanian friends or neighbors. Yeah, and of course, it isn't really a good thing. We can't say it's a good thing. And of course, both sides hold the reason why they had to escalate this up. But in my view, I think there is a better way in which we could always solve solutions.
We could get the solution to this thing.
Instead of having such exchange of words and all that, and even actions. Yeah, you see the things they are doing. Well, to others it may seem such a good thing because each one would want to see the winning side. It seems like a match, but either way, everyone has their own view. Sure. Mine, I'm just going to share a bit of what I think about this,
But before we go to there, hold your thought. Let us get to know you. Who are you? Give us a description of who you are.
Well, my name is Gloria Chepngeno. Yes, and I'm a special needs educator. Yeah,
You matters administration, uliniambia, that's where you thrive.
Yeah, I do love leadership and administration. I have passion in both sides, and I would really want to, and I have this desire of bringing about change through educating or bringing closer, lessons, or even educating people on matters leadership and administration, and also being an iconic example in the same. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I am honored to have a lady who has passion in changing the world, has passion in being a leader, setting examples, trendsetters in the society. It's a big thing. Now, guys, talking about the Kenya-Tanzania online war, let us bring people to speed. And this happened after Mother Karua and a few other what do you call them? It's not a delegation, but activists went to Tanzania. The way they were handled there probably led to some of perception as if they were mishandled. We don't really know what really happened there in Tanzania, but it's like they were going to there's this opposition leader in Tanzania. They were going to court for a court case to listen on the proceedings, and then they were denied kuenda kusikiliza the proceedings, and they were actually, what do you call it, like they were brought back to the country, probably deported. That is, the style of deportation was different. Mother Karua back with flight. There is a guy who was actually I won't say dumped, but he has been also a youth who has been fighting for Kenya rights probably, and Litupa somewhere on the borders there, Tanzania. And then it brought Ile like, we are Kenyans, and as Kenyans, this is not us. Huwezi tushikashika venye unadhani we nani. You understand? That is a typical Kenyan youth on the social media. Tanzania nyinyi ni akina nani? And by the end of the day, for me, I feel like probably we were kept in the dark because the government didn't really talk of what really happened. The Tanzania government, ilisema tu, they were deported. Now we don't know what really happened. We are in the dark because Kenyan government is not talking. Also, the others are not that really much talking about what really happened. And hiyo ilileta uproar in the media. And alafu Kenya News bana, wanaitwa Gen Z wakaleta shida. Gen Z nao nyinyi munajua kulimana bana, walilima Tanzania. It was something, but now the problem is there was abusive language there. People were attacking the president of Tanzania, calling names. You could see youth wanasema ati wewe hii uliachiwa na anaitwa aje hayati mwenda zake Magufuli. And sasa hii ni kitu tu ulipata na kibahati, wacha kushinda unajifanya hapo. They are talking of other things that I can't even mention here. You understand? It was that really bad. And now on the other side, the MPs Tanzania now wakakuwa na noma sana. Wakafeel vibaya sana like, how come you're coming to a country, mnaongea vile mnataka? These Gen Zs in Kenya, they are speaking to Sulu as if he's let me not use some of the words they were using. So they didn't sit right with whatever happened in Kenya. Na walizungumzia kwa parliament yao. It was an issue. Also on the other side, we felt there are some of the MPs out there wenye waliongea vibaya sana, according to some of the people. Me, I don't know. Remember, here we cannot castigate anyone. We don't relay matters perception. But by the end of the day, she spoke venye aliongea, akasema hata Mother Karua angepigwa sijui nini vitu kama hizo. It was really sad and bad. But by the end of the day, this online war, una feel, is it really affecting how we are relating with our brothers here, Tanzania? Una feel kuna impact gani kwa the relationship that we are having with them?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, it was something that was a bit ugly, bearing the fact that we are neighbors and more so we are brothers and sisters in the East African community. And we have some rules and boundary rules that, and even some stipulated rules that even strengthen our relationship with the neighboring countries. And of course we know that this is a free, it's a free East African community, whereby I think we also there's no even strict rules in getting to the neighboring countries. Furthermore, it's an East African country. But now you see each country has their own rules and a way in which they do their things, a way in which they curb some things or they attend to some things. Well, it wasn't really good. Maybe it was not a good approach really on how to, curb these activists from preventing them to get into the country and maybe hear out the proceedings concerning the opposition leader in
Yeah, actually, also on my view, I don't think there's anything bad. As much as they ain't doing anything,
Exactly.
they are not inciting people. They are just there to listen to these things. I don't think it's a bad thing because actually, at Assisi, when we have problems, we see people coming, flying into our countries, try to see how they can bring peace and everything. By the end of the day, with the few incidents we have had as country, so. Does it mean on your side, una feel like there's a way by the end of the day the relationship has been affected kidogo or?
Well, that depends on how things will go on from now, from now after the incident. Because now you see, we always say charity begins at home, right? And probably at some point, I don't think we should also blame them because maybe they see how we are. Yeah, and I think it's important that if you have to bring change, you first start from your home. Yeah, that's why we say if you want to change a nation, you first start by changing your family, then your community, then your country, and then you go changing other international arenas and all that. So I think charity well begins at home. And if, of course, we have not really had a good picture, then we will not really control what others think in their mind. That, maybe they want to wreck it like they are wrecking theirs. Okay, I'm not saying that we are wrecked, but, I'm just trying to say that, they tend to have that belief. So why don't you stick on your own? Why don't you change yours first? And then you come change others.
Well,
we don't want that kind of business here. We don't do such transaction. So go back and do your own things. Change yours first, Well, maybe that is just an irrational thought on the same.
It makes sense because look at it, by the end of the day, mi nasema mi hata ningekuwa wa nchi ingine, I would fear Kenyans because look at it, Kenyans, they have been blazing high, our opposition is really rampant and all that, and in Kenya our rights zimeenda so high. Yeah. Our democracy iko juu sana. By the end of the day, you can say what you want as much as you are the constitution gives you leeway and it may make a limits to what you can say and what you can do. But by the end of the day, we have the right to say what we feel. We have the right to talk. We have the right to pipette. We have the right to demonstrations. We have right to a lot of things, okay? But sasa kuna mtu Tanzania wameangalia, nyinyi mmekuja bana. Nyinyi Kenya mnafanya kwa mtaka kutuletea hapa italeta uoga kidogo. And as much as it is doing that, when I'm talking about these matters relationship with each other, for example, like kama wewe sahi ulikuwa unaenda Tanzania, okay? And are you that safe? Do you feel that safe ukienda sahi? Unajua nikiongelea matters like the relationship whether it's affected, ni ile unafeel kama wewe Mkenya sahi, nikiingia kuingia Tanzania, how safe will I be in Tanzania? If you are a Tanzania coming to Kenya, how safe are you? Depending on what we have been hearing online.
Yeah, sure. Well, to that I can really say to some point it has affected the kind of relation that we have. Because, once something has been created in someone's mindset, it's so hard to remove that. It's kind of like the impression that you give someone. If, for instance, right now, I come to you with an impression that I am that maybe I am a, let's say, a person who talks just randomly without thinking whatever I'm trying to say. The next time I'll be talking, probably you won't expect me to talk really in that sober manner. Sure. Because now you have, you have gotten to know who I really am. The perception concerning the impression that I first gave you. Okay. So, of course, we have always had a perception in their minds. But right now, this incident is happening, and the exchange of things, we are having another impression being created. So, we know definitely well that when a Kenyan travels or goes, or even if I go to Tanzania, of course, there is a way in which I'll be viewed. In fact, there are some words which are going to be said around me, amongst them. And as well, the same applies to the
Tanzanians,
the Tanzanian citizen, when he or she comes to Kenya, of course there are some words that are going to be said around them, which might not really be good. I can't really say an example of it, but we know, yes, and which can bring about segregation. It can bring about bitterness, which can lead to something else. So I think it's important in cementing these relationships. Yeah, it is important now because that we are an East African community. We know very well there's a time in which East African community had ceased and it had declined. Of course, they might be emanated from such issues, and we don't want to get there. We want to have a free, and a community whereby we can interact, we can exchange our ideas, we can exchange our, anything that we have without fear of, being segregated, without fear of being discriminated, or without fear of being, just put aside.
So I think in conclusive, the perception we are talking about here that has been created in a letter that Kauoga Flani, if you are Kenyan, you don't know how you'll be viewed there. People might be talking things uko tu nyuma yako. Kama ni Mtanzania umekuja Kenya. So kuna that tension. We can't say that there's a really like effective thing and yet tunaweza sema ime affect relationship yetu, but tunaweza sema kunako ka tension kadogo tu. And to the next question. Do you think the Kenyan youths overstepped when it comes to how they dealt with this war, how it was dealt kwa mtandao, because it was really abusive. Mimi kama Kasabos, I'm saying it, there was a lot of abuse from our youth to the parliament, to your side, as much as, do you think we overstepped?
Well, okay, just before I answer that question, do you think we overstepped? I'll just shed some light on some things concerning the fact that, we are Kenyans, and of course, like Kenya is our home, and we are patriots. We love our country, and of course we have that spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, where we say blood is thicker than water. So of course, if we see our fellow, something that is ugly is happening to our friends or our fellow brothers and sisters, we will not really keep quiet. We will stand out for them, because if we don't speak out for them, then who will? Of course, hata tunasemaga kwa Kiswahili, wahenga walisema hata ng'ombe akiumia ujikokota zizini. So we know very well that even if we are, we have another person who belongs to our home and is somewhere else, and we see something wrong that is happening, that we don't really acknowledge it, definitely we will stand out for them. Even if they are on the wrong, we will stand out, we will stand for them, and then later on we'll come and see and reason together that was it really the right thing for you to do. You see, because we cannot just start fighting again against our own. We will have to support our own. Well, and that is also relative to the other side. Of course, they are also going to stand for their own, because they are also patriots, and they think that whatever laws they have stipulated, whatever ways they have come up with, are just the right, they are going to support it, because that is their country, that is their homeland, and those are their brothers and sisters. So they will not allow such things. But then again, you see, now this platform has been created, and now this heated argument is never going to end, because
vijana wa Kenya wanatukanana pale wewe mtandaoni.
Yeah, but
I understand this point where you have said by the end of the day, overstepping depends. When it comes to what probably going to listen on what's happening and all that, that's not overstepping. They are brothers, we need to be there, we need to see what's unveiling and everything. Exactly. But now when it comes to the abuse and insult, I think that for me it's overstepping. Yeah,
so I was to get to that point, and thank you for also saying the same. That is overstepping, and we know very well we have other utanite beef. Kuna wengine wako na beef zao personally, but then now they get a platform to just bring out their aggression, even where they are not needed, because now you find that was not really necessary. Speaking all that, going through all that and insulting the other people was not really that necessary. But you see, now other people have their own issues that they just want to vent it somewhere else, and others want to seek attention, which might not even be the right way of seeking attention. So that we get into such platform, try to create some things, bully others and all that. Well, it depends with the different personalities and, different ways of maybe someone has been brought up.
Talking of that, how you have been brought up. Something actually came up from their parliament, and one of the MPs spoke about the fact that the way they have raised their kids,
Yeah.
the way they have raised their youths, who they are now calling the Gen Zs, they have raised them in a way where they want to respect the people who are older than them. They respect the government, and they feel like our Gen Zs have not been brought up right. They don't have the respect they should for people who are older than them. They don't have respect for their government. They are not hardworking. They are just there kwa mtandao na kazi ni matusi.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, what I would say is that, even in our families, we have different styles of family leadership. Just like we have different types of, citizenship, like we have democratic citizenship or government, sorry. We have democratic governments, we have dictatorship governments, we have aristocratic, we have the different styles of government. The same case, we have different styles of, family leadership. Well, the way I have been brought up in my family might not necessarily be the same way you have been brought up in your
That's
family.
for sure. That's for sure.
That will ever be different, depending on the head of the family, or depending on even the setup of your family. Probably, I might have been raised up in a democratic family where I'm allowed to do my things. I'm allowed to say my things. At the end of the day, we just need minimal supervision. But you have some place where if you have to do anything, you have to seek for permission from your parent. If you have to, talk about something, you have to get the consent. So you can never do anything on your own. So you'll have to draw everything from your parents and all that. So that is the same case. And we also have conservative families and liberal families. Maybe for us, we might be such one of a country that is kind of liberal and democratic. But for them, maybe they might be a conservative, and a different kind of family. So, okay, I'm just using that aspect family, but nation, let me say a nation. So we have different styles. So the way we have been brought up might not necessarily be the same. And it will be an irrational judgment when we say that, you have been raised well and the other one have been raised, okay, yes, it is visible. Sometimes you can
Lakini
really
na
know.
kusema tu
But then
kweli
now,
kidogo
that
tu,
is,
let me cut you short kidogo. Hao Wakenya wanatukanana. Mimi kusema kweli sijaona wa Tanzania wenye wanatukanana.
Yeah. So you see, okay, for them, they know there are some extent they can get to, and that is good because now if you have other ways of solving problems or solving conflicts that might not necessarily need you to be abusive and all that. Of course, we have different alternatives. We have very many alternatives instead of exchanging words. Yeah. So, well, it's not a good picture. Abuses is not good at all, and we cannot sugarcoat it to say that they were defending our fellow countrymen. Yeah,
They can as well defend them in a good way, but I feel like when we start abusing, it's not a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. But I like the way you answering your questions because you're really a conservative one. You don't punch directly, there's a way, but I like the fact that you are really giving us a spectrum of how raising up, like you see the way we have raised our nation, like in terms of how they are bringing of the youths from when they were kids, the schooling they have been in and all that. But by the end of the day, remember also the people who are abusing is a small percentage. We have youths like you, Gen Zs like you, who are thinking in a I wouldn't say a better way, but by lack of word, I would say you are not that abusive because you are conservative with what you want to say when it hata kama umekasirika. Unajua kuna mtu anaweza kasirika na hata rusha mangumi, ata relax, akisha cool ndio ataweza kuongea. So by the end of the day, I think it was highly probably maybe it was filled with a lot of emotions.
Exactly.
And more, I think we Kenyans, a lot of Gen Z, a lot of youth will believe that Kenya is up there on a scale where Tanzania should learn a lot of things from us. And you doing some such kind of stuff, it was really something like, yo, what are you doing to me? It's like a small bro or sister hitting you. And you're like, yo, bro, when they abuse you and they go like, yo, what are you trying to do, But by the end of the day, we have respect to Tanzania. Exactly. They are a nation by themselves. We are a nation. Yeah. We have a lot of things to learn from each other. But because of time, I'm sorry, we won't continue, but we'll pose 2 questions to our viewers. There was the 2 questions I want to ask. They had said that there is nothing for them to learn in Kenya. So we'll allow our viewers watuambie kama is it true that Tanzanians, they have nothing to learn from us. You have also tackled the differences between Kenyan and the Tanzania Gen Z, but we haven't like really, of which umeisema, depending on the upbringing. Umesema they are more probably conservatives, and the others, as we are more liberal and democratic. You have said we are more democratic, right? Yeah. So by the end of the day, we are leaving it to our viewers. And thank you for being on Hot Bench. I don't know. I'll give you maybe a minute to have a conclusion for today's show.
Well, my parting shot for this show is that, we all have different kind of boundaries. And we know when someone is stepping on your toes, you can really, and you can tell them that you are coming too far. Please back off, just maintain some distance, because you have some boundaries. So it is important you ask yourself, if you wouldn't want someone to, to cross that kind of boundaries, is it safe or is it okay for you to go or to cross to the other side or to the other person's boundaries? So it is important that we, just as much as you value yourself, you also value your brother. We might not be in the same nation, we might not be in the same environment, but again, just think about them as your brothers and sisters, and we just avoid the rifts that is being created in terms of enmity that is brought about by our words, our actions, or anything that we just do that we know it will cause the other person to to get harmed. So, but I always think sometimes when you have to know when to speak and when to act and when to keep silence, because time will tell it all. So let's be our brothers and our sisters. Thank you.
That has been Gloria, one of our beautiful and very bright girls in the society. She's a Gen Z. She's also a leader on her own capacity. She believes in change that she wants to bring in the society. And on the Hot Bench, we're going to be having conversations with the future leaders, with the future of our country. So keep the conversation live by making sure you are commenting, you are telling us how you feel about the show. I love you so much. Keep on subscribing and keep on liking. I'm out.